Hi, and welcome to the latest edition in Optimum TV's Dealmakers series, where we talk to the movers and shakers in the life science investment world. Today, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Göran Ando, a leading biopharma executive who's worked for companies including Astra, Pfizer and GSK, as well as serving as the chairman of the board of directors of Novo Nordisk. He's currently chairman of iPoint Pharmaceuticals, Nauscom and Anexa. Hi, Göran.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Stephen.
Let's dive straight in. You've been 45 years or so in biopharma, working your way up to senior positions, as I said, in lots of companies. What would you say is your greatest single success in your working career?
I think I would have to say that when together with the board, the rest of the board and the management of Novo Nordisk, we took a decision to go all in to develop semaglutide, you know it as Ozempic or Wegovy, for the obesity indication. Not only did we start the development, we also started at risk 2 very large outcome studies to look at benefits in the cardiovascular side of just lowering the weight of patients. And we showed, of course, that not only did it reduce the weight with the obvious benefits, both cosmetic and in being able to move around better, but also dramatically reduced the risks for serious cardiovascular diseases as well as stroke. And to me, that was a brave decision at the time because the market was very small, but we were convinced by the early clinical data we had, and it turned out very successfully.
And that was key to its regulatory success, wasn't it? Proving that success in those diseases.
Yes, it's we knew it was going to work. I think the obvious one was that we wanted to be able to convince physicians and payers that this is more than a cosmetic treatment to get into your bikini in the summertime. This was something that's far more serious and far more important to overall health in any nation.
Okay, let's flip the coin now. That's your biggest success, and it's a hell of a success. 45 years is a long time, and throughout those years, you're bound to have some failures. What's your biggest failure?
Oh yes, if you work with research and development of new medicines, whether you're in a large pharmaceutical company or in a small biotech, you learn to live with failures because you're going to have failures. And of the many failures I've had, maybe certainly one of the worst, if not the worst, was in the late 90s. We had and decided to submit a drug for the treatment of acute subarachnoid hemorrhage to the FDA for approval. The phase 3 study missed the primary endpoint, but a sub-analysis showed that if you gave the treatment very early after the event, you clearly had very positive effects on recovery. So we talked ourselves into that this was logical and this would be acceptable, and submitted the application. We got crushed by the FDA advisory committee. There's no other description for it. So it was, I think, in hindsight, a clear indication of both the positive bias you have when you worked with a drug for quite a while, and perhaps also groupthink. I still have scars on my back from that one.
Okay, that's interesting. Now that's all behind you. You're still working, of course. Why do you still work when you don't necessarily have to? Why haven't you called it a day?
I'm still fascinated by the ability to contribute to research, discovery, and development of new and better medicines. It's something I have enjoyed from day one I joined the industry, and I still do. And it continues to fascinate me. And I feel actually privileged to still be part of it. The second one is the interactions that you get to have with very, very bright people, scientists and others, whether they work in your organization or in academia, which continues to stimulate me. And finding bright people in your organization, giving them a chance to grow, and then seeing them grow is enormously rewarding. As part of that, of course, mentoring, especially CEOs and perhaps the new CEOs is also very, very rewarding. I've been in the industry, I've seen lots of movies come and go, so a lot of the problems that show up, I've seen that movie before and hopefully can provide some good advice.
Okay, let's talk about the wider picture. How do you think the funding and regulatory environment has changed over the last couple of years, and how is that impacting the industry?
The funding environment, if I look essentially at the biotech part and stay perhaps with Europe, including UK, has been pretty good. Surprisingly, also throughout the pandemic, when I thought it would be really, really tough, it's been okay, but it's slowly getting tougher and tougher. And the last year has clearly been tough. And I saw a note here that the first half of this year, the overall funding for biotech was 25% down on the same period last year, and even more if you go back to the real heydays in that respect. And it is a signal in that respect. There's no doubt about that. And the regulatory environment, if you just switch on that, hasn't changed that much. We're an industry with very long development times, and within reason we can adapt to almost any requirement, but we need to know about it well in advance so we can work it into our plans. So predictability is very important, and both FDA and EMEA and the Japanese authorities have been good in being predictable. That may change.
Okay. Throwing ahead for the next couple of years, how do you see things changing?
So, again, on funding, I am hoping that we will see more dedicated investors who are specialist investors and understand our business model, because it is different from virtually anything else. And you need to be comfortable with the risk that we're all taking, and understand the long lead times that we have for almost anything. But competent investors know that and handle it really well in that respect. And while retail investors is tougher, especially for small biotech companies. So I see that as a hope. You would think that a tougher environment would perhaps result in that the bad companies will get squeezed out, and the good companies will continue to be well rewarded and well financed according to, if you like, a Darwinian process. I don't necessarily see that happening, because I don't understand why we are funding the 58th GLP-1 agonist in obesity when you have 5 or 6 already approved and 50 others in development. There can't really be a great idea for that. And you see on the ADCs in just now in cancer, there are umpteen in development for unspecified cancers. I don't think there'll be space for all of that. So I would hope that there is more selectivity in that respect.
Super. Göran Ando, it's been a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you very much for being on Optimum TV.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.